going to share. Let me get plugged up here. Oh. All right, babe. You need. Okay. All right. Sorry. Okay. Yep, I'm ready. All right, you guys, put your hands together for Mr. Nate Scott.
Ladies, how are you?
Great.
Wonderful. This is exciting. It's exciting to be back up in the DMV area. The DMV,
Yes.
Metro Virginia. You know, I'm excited about being back up here. This is where I came after leaving Korea. I'm a former enlisted soldier, Desert Storm veteran. I grew up in a small town outside of Savannah, Georgia. Anybody from the South in here? Okay, there you go, Lynn. So I grew up in a small town outside of Savannah, Georgia. When my basketball scholarship fell through coming out of high school, I turned down my academic scholarships and enlisted in the Army. Immediately enrolled in college courses, continued to play sports, and as a result of just being proactive, and that's one of the things, throughout this whole time I'm speaking with you, you want to take notes, because my teaching process is one in which I say, if I tell you, you'll forget. If I teach you, you'll remember. But if I involve you, you'll learn. Repeat after me. If I tell you, you'll forget. If I teach you, you'll remember. If I involve you, you'll learn. One more time. If I tell you, you'll forget. If I teach you, you'll remember. If I involve you, you'll learn. Now, isn't that the objective?
Yes.
We want to learn, right?
Yes.
We don't want to have a session that's similar to church where you go get the rah-rah and the feel good on a Sunday, and then when Monday comes, your shoulders kind of slump down, and then you're worrying about different things. You're wondering how you're going to do certain things. We don't want that, right?
That's right.
See, my charge and my challenge to each one of you is to hold me accountable to this. The first thing is, my promise is very simple. If you will lend me your ear, I'll give you my heart. If you lend me your ear, I'll give you my heart. If you will lend me your ear, I'll give you my heart. That's one promise that I make to you. The next thing I promise to you is that if you play full out, if you engage throughout this small amount of time in which I'm with you, I will absolutely help you to change your state. There's no doubt about it. If you truly engage in what I share with you, it will absolutely change your life if you simply apply. Is that fair? Okay, so I always believe in setting expectations. So I'm going to ask you as I conclude, what did you get a value from this time? Okay, so you guys are the evaluators. I'm here to serve you. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm an inspirational teacher. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm an inspirational teacher. See, and every time I share these things, it's about framing and giving you a place so you can evaluate. Because, see, there's no shortage of information that you can get from places or from people, right? And so what happens is you get information, but it just ends up being something maybe you'll feel good. You might give the amens and people stand up. And many times people think that's a measurement of how good something is. I don't do it to get the applause. I don't get it on social media to get the likes. I'm not doing this with you guys watching for you to like it. What I want you to be is change, challenge, and charged. Change, challenge, and charge. You know, I think about the man at the pool of Bethesda. You know the story? Right? They're sitting right there by the pool. Right? And then Jesus asked the question of, do you want to be made well? Do you want to be made well? And if I ask you guys that question, and whatever you define well is, do you want to be made well? Maybe you want to be made well by increasing your level of income. Maybe you want to be made well by increasing the level of relationships that you have. Maybe you want to be made well by increasing your mental aptitude. Whatever it is, the question is, do you want to be made well? And you've got to be able to answer that question affirmatively. Only you can decide that, right? Only you know whether or not you want to be made well. Because, see, plans change, decisions don't. Plans change. Decisions don't. You can get started along this path right now, and you have the plan to do it. And frankly, you may change that plan. But as long as you have made the decision,
Right.
as long as you made the decision that that's where you're going, it doesn't matter if there's this in the way as you're moving down this path, because what you can do is change the plan, right?
Right.
You can change the route. And so I want you guys to ladies, to walk away with that idea, because it's important to me that I give you some things to show you how to think versus what to think. How to think versus what to think. And see, I know this process is real, and I know that I'm effective at doing it. I know that the seeds are good. And here's how I know, because see, I used to train soldiers to go into battle. And see, I know that in training soldiers to go into battle, what I had to remember was that if I were to get killed on the battlefield, the mission still would have to take place. And so what I would do is teach them how to think versus what to think, because it wasn't about the individual tasks that I was giving them. It was about getting the mission accomplished. I'm a father. I've got two beautiful children, Nadia and Trey. They're ages 12 and 11. I'm not raising my children to be robots. I've got to ensure that I equip them. I've got to educate, equip, and empower them, because one day I might be gone. And I've got to make sure that the foundation has been laid so that regardless of what the terrain looks like and the situations of life comes about, they've got to be able to function, right?
Right.
So I bring that same thing with your leadership here. See, the system's laid out. It's up to you to understand how to think versus what to think, because it's not going to be cookie cutter. It's not going to be just stop, lock, and key one way. You've got to be able to develop and then be able to take action based on what the situations are, right? And that's why it's so important that you stay plugged in. That's why it's so important that you get this stuff over and over and over and over again, because it's the repetition. In the military, we call it battle drills. So you do the same thing over and over and over again, so that instinctively when something goes off, you know how to respond and react without any thinking, without any pause. You already know what to do. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay? And so Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth. Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth. This is a principle-centered, biblically based leadership program focused on personal growth and entrepreneurship. It's a principle-centered, biblically based leadership program focused on personal growth and entrepreneurship. And I wrote it specifically to address the fact that 77 million baby boomers are retiring and facing a cash flow danger. And 66 out of 100 people age 65 earn less than $30,000 in retirement. So 77 million baby boomers are retiring and facing a cash flow danger, and 66 out of 100 people age 65 earn less than $30,000 in retirement. I'll also tell you that 97% of people say they don't have enough to retire comfortably, and 34% say they don't have anything put away, and 58% say they've never had their numbers run. And that's where this segment comes in. Because see, and I wrote Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth. What I did, I wrote it from the frame of reference of, wait a minute. Here I am, a former enlisted soldier, Desert Storm veteran, West Point graduate, served 5 years as an infantry officer, got out, did my MBA at George Washington, financial planning at Georgetown. In 2001, as I was leaving the military, read a book, applied the principles, in a 90-day window, acquired over $1 million in assets. From there, started getting calls by people because they wanted to then manage my affairs. They didn't know what my background was, and so they were asking me questions trying to get my accounts. I was asking questions just so I can just see who they were. They thought in asking my questions, they didn't realize I was still looking for an advisor. Not because I didn't know the information. I knew that I didn't want my emotions driving my decisions. You see, because in the military, what it taught me was about delegation. I was secure in my own self. I knew how to spot check. I knew how to supervise. I'm okay with having someone do what they're charged to do and making sure that I was still inevitably responsible. But see, they didn't understand that role, and so it made me think one of these are just salespeople. And so, given my background, I left a phenomenal job. I worked at the Missile Defense Agency as a defense contractor. $83,500 base salary back in 2001. Stock options and all this stuff. Phenomenal job, but I was bored. I was bored. I was in a cubicle. I was unfulfilled.
Yes.
And so when my daughter was being born, I said, wait a minute. I want to be that dad that's around. And so there was something that gave me an opportunity to walk away from that because I created this personal income over here. So I left sight unseen and moved to Florida to go into the business of financial services because I wanted to see what they were being taught. And what I learned while I was inside was that there might have been great people working as financial advisors, but here's what was different about them versus me. I was in the field after having already made my own money. I knew what was real versus what wasn't. I saw that it didn't matter what someone's background was going into the business because the job as a financial advisor was to gather assets, to go and open up accounts. So if I like you, if you like me, and I can get you to trust me, then you can transfer your account and I can open an account. Now I'm building up the company and I'm getting paid by how much stuff I can gather in. You may be thinking you got a great plan. You're thinking that I'm making your money grow, but no, I'm trying to get in the next account because that's the only way I'm getting compensated. So I saw that and I said, wait a minute. There's a problem here because people just don't know what, number one, the job of that advisor is. And number two, they're thinking they're doing great, but nobody's running the numbers. So I said, let me just show people what the bankers and brokers don't show them so that in turn people are in a position to make sound decisions that are in line with where they want to get to. And when I show you this, you're going to be thankful, but you're going to understand why the opportunity that's presented here at Mary Kay and others like this is the smartest thing you can ever do. So number one, here's what I want you to do. The 7-question analysis. It's very, very simple. I just want you to answer the question for yourself on your paper. Just answer the question. Don't write the question down. Just write the answer down. Number one, write down your age. Write down your age. Number two, write down the age in which you would want to retire. The age in which you would want to retire. Whatever that may mean to you. Many times people say 65. Now, number three, what's the difference between those two numbers? How many years do you have to get to that number? How many years do you have to get to that number? Number four, what is your current nest egg? How much do you have in your 401k? What do you have put away? Remember, I already told you that 97% don't have enough to retire, 34% don't have anything, and 58% don't know their numbers. So what do you have as your nest egg currently? Number five, how much per month do you want in order to live the retirement that you desire? You probably want to start with where you're at right now. If you make enough right now to live, you might say that number, but what do you want to have in order to live per month, in order to live in your retirement? Yes, ma'am. Monthly income. Monthly income. Monthly income. Monthly income. How much do you have for your month? Number six. What is the absolute best rate of return that you personally know how to get? What's the absolute best rate of return that you personally know how to get?
Whether you're getting it or not.
Well, if you know how to get it, what would you do? Huh?
You get it.
You'll get it, right? That's it. So the absolute best rate of return that you personally know how to get. Now here, let me pause for a second. By show of hands, in honesty, who doesn't know what I'm even saying when I say that? Who doesn't even know the question? Okay, thank you. See, that's true. The truth of the matter is that I use that question because it's an opportunity for me to provide some education. Because see, my promise is to educate, equip, and empower. I ask that question because I know that most people have no clue. And here's the power of that. Money is like a foreign land. Money is like a foreign land. If you don't know the language of the land, you can't necessarily get around, right? So when I say absolute best rate of return, that's a language, financial language. See, we have all the stuff around us, we hear it, but we don't even know the language, right? So then what happens? We miss out on stuff. So that's one of the key things you guys got to take away is that we got to get financially literate. We got to get that. Okay, so what I mean by this is this. Where would you put your money at so that it's going to grow? Where do you put your money? So we'll say the bank. Well, let's start with underneath the mattress. Right? 0, right? Actually less than that because of inflation. Right? What else we got? Savings account.
Stocks.
Okay, stocks. What else? CDs? Mutual funds?
Roth.
Okay, money market? 401k? Okay, so now, education.
Real estate.
Okay.
Real estate.
Sure. So let's get real. Let's get real. Number one, understand that when you say 401k, Roth, IRA, when you say those things, what you in essence are saying are mutual funds. And in essence, what you're saying is stocks or bonds, because mutual funds are made up of stocks and bonds, right? And a Roth or a Roth IRA or 401k is simply just an umbrella where you are getting those things to kind of fund those things, right? But in essence, the problem is this. It's all tied to the market. And who drives the market? Right?
Yes.
You. All y'all drive the market. So how you going to predict that? Right? Something happened in your life, and you do something, then you mess up her life. You don't even know her. You see what I'm saying? So when I say absolute best rate of return, the advisor is going to tell you one thing, and I just tell you simply this. I'd like you to say, let's just say 5%. Because they'll probably tell you 8 to 10% if you look at historical numbers.
Right. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. Invest for the long term. Right? Compound interest, dollar cost averaging. Right? You're just hoping that when it's time for you,
That it'll be there.
that is there.
It's still there.
Right?
Not to mention the fees you pay him.
Right?
You manage your money.
Hey, you see what I'm saying? So there you go. So let's go 5%. All right? Now, so here's what we're doing. Number 7 is all about us calculating. So number 7, what you want to do is you want to take the annual amount, which was number 5, the monthly amount, number 5, and multiply that by 12 so I can get an annual amount. So did anyone say 5,000 a month? Times 12 is 60,000 a year, right? Okay. So whatever that annual, so now you got an annual amount. Divide that annual amount by 0.05. 0.05. So for those of you that said 60,000 a year, what's that number when you divide it?
3,000.
Huh?
3,000. Oh, what did I do wrong?
12.
Look at your numbers again. $60,000 divided by 0.05.
Oh, you said divide. That's probably why.
I got 16.
Huh? 60. So you say, see when somebody does that, see, all I do is I just listen for somebody to get, ooh.
Yeah.
Right.
So tell me that, ooh, what happened?
1.2
1.2 what?
Million.
1.2 million. See, now the question is, now why is there someone showing you that number?
You said 0.05%.
Divided by 0.05, right. If you do point, it's either 5%.
Yeah, you pay 2%. You have to do the 0.5.
It's either 5%
Or 0.05.
or it's 0.05. Most people don't deal with percentages, so I'm just trying to tell you what the numbers are. What was your number? What was your annual amount?
The annual,
60 for you?
yes.
So same, 1.2. Did anyone say anything less? Anybody say other than, what was yours?
I would say
60? Anybody say another different than? 3,000. Okay, listen up. 3,000. So somebody said 3,000. Okay, just pay attention now. Ready? Monthly amount was 3,000, which is annual of 36,000. 36,000 divided by 0.05 gives how much?
720,000.
720,000. Okay? Somebody said 10,000, right? 10,000, 12, 120,000. Divided by 0.05 is 2.4 million. All right? Pretty significant, isn't it?
Yes.
So now what you do is, so you take that number that you had, whatever, what, 1.2? 1.2, you subtract number 4. So if you're fortunate enough to have something for number 4, i.e. you currently have a nest egg, then you subtract that. That means, okay, well, instead of 1.2, you might have 8. All right? So now what we do is take that, whatever that number is, divide it by how many years? What's the number 3?
12.
12 divided by 12. What do we have?
A lot of money to make.
Show me. So see, once you see it, then you can do something with it. See, the problem is there's no plans.
Right.
And see, the only way I can help you to change your circumstances is that you got to know where you're at. See, I'm a former personal trainer. That's my first business as a trainer. I was a personal trainer here at Bally's Total Fitness when I was here stationed at the Old Guard, and I was in Alexandria. And so my business has all evolved from being a personal trainer. See, the very first thing that I do with someone is they come and tell me what their goals are, right? And then the next thing I have to do is what?
Formulate a plan for them.
But what is the first thing I'm going to do?
Ask them questions.
I'm going to do something, I'm going to ask questions, but I'm going to do an assessment,
Yeah.
right? We got to know where they're at. Because I can't create a plan for you if I don't know where you're at. So then I do the assessment. What we're doing right now is the assessment. But unlike I was doing as a financial advisor where I had to ask you to give me stuff and give me your account information, I don't need to do anything except for empower you, educate, equip, and empower you to do your own calculations so that you don't think I'm selling you jack.
Right.
I'm putting you in total control. So I do the assessment, and then the next thing I do is we've got to formulate a plan. The plan is based upon what your goals are. So now, if you tell me based upon what your numbers, you realize that your current plan isn't going to get you where you want to get to.
Nowhere near.
Well, nowhere near, exactly. So then here's the magic. And this is how you use the book, Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth. This is how you use what I'm teaching you. This is how you explode your business. How many of you would like to explode your business over the next 70 days or so?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, so here's what you do. Here's what you do. You sell the problem instead of the solution.
Yes.
You sell the problem instead of the solution. See, what I'm doing right now is telling you right now that 97% of the population don't have enough to retire comfortably, period. Right? So understanding that, it's up to you to increase your value. You increase your value by growing, by learning. And now you put yourself in a situation, you know what? I know how you feel. I felt the same way. Here's what I found out. Right? You understand?
Yeah.
Okay, so now what we got? So I asked somebody to run the number for me. So 1.2 million. Do me a favor. Oh no, I'm gonna do it like this. I'm 25 years old. Okay, I just graduated from college. 5 more minutes. I just graduated from college. I'm at 25 years old. I want to retire at 65. I got 40 years that I'm going to go to work, and I want 5,000 a month in order to, in my retirement. When I get to 65, I want 5,000 coming from my retirement, my nest egg. So I just now calculated that I need 1.2 million. 1.2 million by the time I get to age 65 over my 40-year work life, right? So from age 25 to age 65, 40 years, the goal is to get to 1.2 million. How much do I need to be putting away each year in order to get to 1.2 million over the next 40 years?
30,000.
30,000. So let's put that 30,000 in perspective. I got to be making an extra 30,000 that I'm going to take away from, and I'm going to put it onto the side. I gotta. So I want you to imagine. I have to have. If I'm a tithing member of my church, and I'm making $300,000 a year, and I take 10% of my annual, I now got 30,000 that I can put away.
Get excited.
You can see. Is that really going to be feasible? Is that really what you're telling me, that in order for me to get to my goal? And you're not even telling me that early enough or even give me a shooting chance?
Wow. Wow.
See, I know that I have the goods. I don't care what anyone says, but I know that I've got the answers even if they don't understand. And what I'm saying to you all, if you want to change your business, if you want to change your life, because what I want to challenge you to do is not make this about this business. You are the asset. You've chosen to give this company your talents. You are the asset, period. Your family legacy is on the line. Continue to build up yourself so that in turn you can go do something for you and your family. This here allows you to impact everyone's life. You understand? And so here I am working in this manner, and I come to the situation of realization, there's no way in the world that what I'm doing, no matter what my job is, am I going to get that. And not to count the fact that I hadn't even got married yet, I ain't had no kids yet, I haven't been laid off yet, I haven't been divorced yet. I ain't getting none of that stuff. I'm just talking on a sheet of paper and I'm trying to plan.
Right.
Right.
So what options do I have? Well, how about this? How about I take $115.92 and I in turn decide that I'm going to redirect money that I'm already spending because I'm already conscious about looking fabulous. And I met this guy named Nate Scott, and he says his vision is wellness in the world, spiritual, mental, emotional, relational, physical, and financial. And he's really sharp. He's physically fit. His skin looks good. He's got an amazing, sexy, fine wife. And in turn, you know what? And he looks like he's getting paid. You know what? I want that.
Yes.
And so I decide that I too going to take $115.92 and I'm just going to try to imitate and mirror that particular gentleman. And he tells me that he wears this he takes care of his skin at night. He washes his face. He cleanses it. And he does these things twice a day. And so I said, well, I want to look like that too. I want to actually have what he has as well. And so maybe, just maybe, I'm going to mirror what he's doing. Because they say that if one person can do it, then maybe another person can do it. And then I do that, and he then says, you know what? You're pretty sharp. Let me tell you that you can flip that $115.92 into whatever you want to write down. Maybe write down $5,000 a month. You know what? How about write down $10,000 a month? Whatever you want to write down. And how about spend the next 4 or 5 years being intentional about helping other people? Be intentional about giving value as opposed to getting. And simply track those things that you can track. Turn that cell phone into a cash machine. And what do I mean by that? I simply mean pick up the phone, contact people, and invite them to understand their own situation and then show them a solution that they won't get any other else. And so I ask each one of you on tonight, as you contemplate these numbers, is that would you like to have a shot at getting to $5,000 a month within the next 5 years? How about if I could show you how to get to $5,000 a month in the next 10 years? Would that be good? If I could show you how to get to $5,000 a month within the next 15 years, would that be okay?
No.
Well, let me hold that. I'm glad you said no. How many years is it going to take you to get there in your job? How many? I just told you I started at 25. I just told you I worked to 65. I just told you I worked for 40 years. And I ain't counting nothing about marriage. I ain't counting nothing about no children. I ain't counting nothing about no divorce. I ain't counting nothing about no changing of laying up. I ain't told you none of those things. Child support, none of that stuff. So you trying to tell me you wouldn't invest $115.92 to have a shot at getting to $5,000 a month, even if it took you 20 years versus having no shot at all in your lifetime?
Right.
See, when Gloria Mayfield Banks said that Harvard taught her about decision making, well, I can say the same thing about West Point. See, when you know what you value, decisions are easy. And that's why we got to teach how to think versus what to think. And that's why we got to stand boldly on what we're doing and understand that if you come at from a place of posture where you understand what you understand, and just understand that 2% of yeses come on the first touch. 2% will say yes on the first touch. 3% say yes on the second touch. Only 3% will say yes on the second touch. 5% happen on the third touch. 5% of you in front of somebody's face doing what you do say yes on the third touch. 10% on the fourth touch. Fourth touch. 20% total over 4 times. How many of you know you ain't even touching nobody more than 3?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes.
Right?
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth, right?
Yeah.
80% of yeses come on the 5th through the 12th touch.
Jesus.
Yes, 80% of the touches. 80% yeses on the 5th through the 12th touch. 80%. 80%. And so my charge and challenge to each one of you is this. Stay consistent to the decision that you made. Because
Yes.
plans change, decisions don't. Plans change, decisions don't. I'm going to leave you. I want you just to repeat after me as I take my seat, and I'm going to encourage you to get Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth, and I'll show you how to actually use that for to grow your business. It's a great return on investment in order to make that happen, because all you got to do is stick in long enough, and it takes care of itself. It's the intangible difference. So repeat after me. Repeat after me. Repeat after me. You ready?
Ready.
All right. Dramatic wealth is a virtue.
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 I'm open and receptive to any ideas and people
I'm open and receptive to any ideas and people
that will help me to achieve my goal of dramatic wealth.
that will help me to achieve my goal of dramatic wealth.
I'm open and receptive to any ideas and people
I'm open and receptive to any ideas and people
that will help me to achieve my goal of dramatic wealth.
that will help me to achieve my goal of dramatic wealth.
I'm open and receptive to any ideas and people
I'm open and receptive to any ideas and people
that will help me to achieve my goal of dramatic wealth.
that will help me to achieve my goal of dramatic wealth.
I am worth $100,000 per month,
I am worth $100,000 per month,
and I love sharing it with those in need.
and I love sharing it with those in need.
I am worth $100,000 per month,
I am worth $100,000 per month,
and I love sharing it with those in need.
and I love sharing it with those in need.
I am worth $100,000 per month,
I am worth $100,000 per month,
and I love sharing it with those in need.
and I love sharing it with those in need.
Through perseverance, I am creating
Through perseverance, I am
the
creating
financial dynasty I so richly deserve.
the financial dynasty I so richly deserve.
Through perseverance, I am creating
Through perseverance, I am
the
creating
financial dynasty I so richly deserve.
the financial dynasty I so richly deserve.
Through perseverance, we are creating
Through perseverance, we are
the
creating
financial dynasty we so richly deserve.
the financial dynasty we so richly deserve.
My name is Nate Scott, author of the book Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth. Take care and be blessed.